Ukraine on February 24th, 2022, his plan was clear.
Короче, ролик прекрасный для тех, кто понимает по-английски. В общем, ролик про Норвегию, как она помогает Украине с первого дня, с 24 февраля 2022 года. С 24 февраля 2022 года Норвегия встала на сторону Украины открыто, наложила санкции, дала материальную помощь, лечила украинских военных, дает технику.
The first few days before Ukraine or the world had a chance to react. But as history shows, Putin miscalculated. Kyiv didn't fall, Ukraine stood strong, and the world rallied. Among the nations that rose to Ukraine's defense, one unexpected...
Слушайте, вы такая большая, великая. Как вы в учебник напишете? Что вы делаете в Украине уже почти 3 года?
...hero emerged, Norway. A country known for its neutrality, suddenly thrust into a high-stakes confrontation with one of the most dangerous regimes in modern history. Despite its proximity to Russia and the shadow of potential retaliation, Norway took bold steps that stunned the world. From sending advanced anti-tank weapons that crippled Russian forces to delivering life-saving air defense systems, Norway's support wasn't just generous, it was brave. Its actions were not without risks, as Putin's gaze turned towards this small Scandinavian nation, now a formidable obstacle to his ambitions. How did Norway, a nation more accustomed to peace than war, evolve into a decisive force that changed the dynamics of the battlefield? And what will this mean for the future of the conflict? Join us as we uncover how Norway, against all odds, became one of Putin's biggest problems and a true ally to Ukraine in its darkest hour. Unsurprisingly, our story starts on the first day of the invasion, when the world watched in stunned silence as Putin's forces surged into Ukraine. Norway, however, quickly broke this silence, issuing a press release on the very same day. Norway condemns Russia's military attack on Ukraine in the strongest possible terms. This attack is a serious violation of international law and will have dramatic consequences for the people of Ukraine, Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store's statement said. Store also immediately met with Ukrainian ambassador to Norway to discuss ways to help the Ukrainian people, instantly donating some $23 million in humanitarian aid, primarily to the United Nations
$23 миллиона тут же дали, в первый же день.
Refugee Agency, the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Movement, and the Ukraine Humanitarian Fund. The rest of the press release made two things abundantly clear. Norway was ready for this scenario to unfold, and Norway was ready to step up to the plate, as the country's then Minister of Defense, Odd Roger Enoksen, put it. At first, stepping up to the plate only referred to sending non-lethal military equipment on February 27th. According to Enoksen, this was the equipment Ukraine requested, and Norway was able to donate quickly. Some of the items included in the donation were as follows: 5,000 helmets, 1,500 bulletproof vests, 1,000 gas masks weren't enough. Arms support was imperative. So the Norwegian government decided to donate up to 2,000 M72 anti-tank weapons. Beloved among military forces for their portability and effectiveness, these weapons would provide Ukraine with crucial firepower against the advancing Russian armored vehicles. This decision also went against Norway's restrictive policy on exporting defense-related products, demonstrating just how far the nation was willing to go in support of Ukraine. In Store's words, Ukraine is now in a desperate and extraordinary situation, which is why Norway also allowed other countries to provide Norwegian-produced ammunition or weapons to Ukraine. In mid-March, Norway decided to go after Russia directly. The Norwegian government incorporated a wide-ranging package of sanctions against Russia in response to its illegal attack on Ukraine. The package, which Norwegian Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time, Anniken Huitfeldt, described as an expression of Norway's solidarity with the Ukrainian people, was also the biggest ever to be imposed by Norway against any country. The goal of these sanctions was to undermine Russia's capacity to fund its unlawful conflict with Ukraine. So Norway went all out. The country prevented the export of technology, goods, and services that could be used by Russia to bolster its military operations. The sanctions also targeted individuals in Russia and Belarus with ties to the Kremlin's war machine and the decision-making process for Ukraine, freezing their assets and barring their travel to Norway. Of course, there were also restrictions on Russian financial institutions, cutting them off from Norwegian markets. And even this was just the beginning. As Huitfeldt puts it, there will be more sanctions against Russia and Belarus to come. And they did come less than a week later. The new sanctions included the prohibiting of transactions with 12 Russian state-owned enterprises, imposing trade restrictions on iron and steel products, prohibiting exports of a range of luxury goods, banning new investments in the Russian energy sector, and expanding the list of sanctioned individuals to 877 and businesses to 62. However, the exact content of the new sanctions package wasn't the most important part. What was more crucial was Norway's willingness to continue exerting pressure on Russia and Putin by taking decisive and escalating actions. It's precisely this approach that will allow Norway to deal Russia a crushing blow further down the road. But for now, we're still firmly planted in the more moderate actions that marked the early stages of Norway's strategic intervention in the war in Ukraine. On March 30th, the Norwegian government decided to allocate another $18.6 million to Ukraine, this time aiming to support the country's government administration. This money was to be used to pay salaries for Ukrainian healthcare personnel, teachers, and public
18
sector
миллионов
employees,
на
and take care
зарплаты,
of pensions and social benefits.
пенсии.
After all, how can Ukraine maintain its resilience and functionality amidst a war if its essential services and government functions are crippled? Throughout April and May of 2022, Norway's efforts to help Ukraine resist Russia were mostly focused on financial aid. Norway even donated around $9 million to Moldova, as this rather poor European
9
country
миллионов
had
дала
no choice but to
Молдове,
receive
потому
over
что Молдова
400,000
получила
refugees from Ukraine. The message to Russia was
получила
clear.
несколько миллионов
Norway was
украинцев.
resolute and unyielding in its stand against tyranny. This stance also
Норвегия
included
помогала
taking care
Молдове,
of wounded
представляете,
Ukrainian soldiers in
которую
Norway, a
поместила
decision
у
made by
себя
the government on
украинцев.
June 1st. Around 550 soldiers would be brought to Bergen Hospital Trust, Oslo University
500
Hospital Trust, and Sunas Rehabilitation Hospital,
військових
facilities
ЗСУ
with unique
попали в
expertise in
Норвегию
the treatment of burns,
на
trauma,
лечение.
and rehabilitation, praised by Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. From June to September 2022, Norway kept piling sanctions against Russia and accumulating aid for Ukraine. On July 1st, it was decided the financial support for Ukraine would be raised to almost $1 billion over the next 2 years, with Sture once again reiterating that Norway would stand together with the Ukrainian people. On August 26th, the Norwegian government introduced new sanctions against Putin and his regime, further expanding and clarifying a series of measures. 3 days later, on August 29th, Norway pledged another $187 million to help procure natural gas for Ukraine in response to the energy crisis exacerbated by Russia's senseless war. However, throughout these months, Norway has also been sending military aid to Ukraine. Some of the most notable equipment sent to the country after the 2000 M72 anti-tank weapons in February include the following: 100 Mistral air defense systems. These man-portable infrared-guided missile systems are designed for short-range air defense, targeting and destroying low-flying aircraft, including helicopters and drones. The inclusion of these systems in Ukraine's arsenal has provided a critical boost to its air defense capabilities, enabling it to better protect its airspace and counter aerial threats. 22 155mm M109A3GN howitzers with ammunition in May. The M109A3GN is a variant of the M109 self-propelled howitzer, originally acquired by Norway between 1969 and 1971 from West Germany. These units were subsequently upgraded to the M109A3GN configuration during the late 1980s. The upgrade enhanced their capabilities with improved firepower, accuracy, and reliability, reflecting Norway's commitment to maintaining a modern and effective artillery force. 850 Black Hornet Nano Micro military UAVs in August. These tiny, highly portable drones are equipped with cameras and are used for reconnaissance and surveillance. Their small size and advanced technology allow them to provide real-time intelligence and enhanced situational awareness on the battlefield, giving Ukrainian forces a significant edge in monitoring enemy movements and gathering crucial information. 14 Iveco light multi-role vehicles in October. This tactical vehicle is designed for various roles, including troop transport, reconnaissance, and logistics support. Its versatility and off-road capability make it an essential asset for mobility and operational flexibility on the battlefield. 2 firing units for the National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System, or NASAMS for short, in November. This distributed short to medium-range ground-based air defense system was jointly developed by the Norwegian defense supplier Kongsberg Defense and Aerospace and the US defense contractor Raytheon. NASAMS is used to defend against unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, cruise missiles, fixed-wing aircraft, and helicopters firing a wide range of missiles. Military equipment and weapons deliveries continued throughout 2023, as well as Norwegian efforts across all other crucial fronts. In the equipment department, Ukraine received the following notable additions: 8 Leopard 2A4 main battle tanks in March. The Leopard 2A4, originally developed by Germany, is renowned for its robust armor, advanced fire control systems, and powerful 120mm smoothbore gun.